Good day! I am your reporter for today, Danelyn Navarra, and my topic is about the sample lesson 2, teaching grammar through reformulation for elementary. Reformulation is the process by which the teacher takes the meanings the learners are attempting to express in English and translates this into an acceptable form. It is a technique that has been used in the teaching of writing. Students write a first draft, which the teachers then reformulates, not just at the level of individual words and sentences, but in terms of the organization of the text as a whole. In other words, reformulation refers to an error correction technique to improve and develops what the learners made with the help of the teacher. Reformulation is therefore more than simply correction. Whereas correction is offered in the spirit of this is how you should say it. The impetus underlying reformulation is more, this is how I would say it. In the lesson, the teacher introduces the language used for talking about disasters by reformulating a text jointly constructed by the students. These are the steps for teaching grammar through reformulation. Step 1. The teacher introduces the theme by placing a newspaper picture of a disaster, such as an earthquake on the board. He sits and without even explicit prompts, such as what happens in an earthquake or have you ever been in an earthquake, but simply by indicating with a look or gesture that students should say anything they want associated with the topic. He encourages the production of isolated words, phrases, and sentences. In this stage, it allows the learners to give their ideas and insights about the featured photo. These are left uncorrected, and the focus of this stage is simply on brainstorming ideas. For the step 2, when students are starting to run out of ideas, even with some gentle prompting from the teacher, or when they start departing too widely from the topic, the teacher stops the activity and draws a line down the center of the board. He hands one student the chalk and asks this student to act as the class scribe. So the teacher let one of his learners to act as a secretary or scribe, where in step 1 example that the teacher introduces a theme about earthquake. So each of the learners give their ideas and then scribe write or list it down on the board for compilation and better understanding. The teacher then leaves the classroom or sits at the back. The class then collaboratively construct a text which the scribe writes up onto one half of the board. For the step 3, the teacher returns and reads the student's text aloud, without commentary but asking any questions where the meaning is unclear. He then reformulates this text to the other half of the board, that is, he rewrites it in its entirety, correcting superficial errors of spelling, word choice, collocation or morphology, recasting complete sentences if necessary, and even moving whole sentences around so as to produce a more coherent text. As the teacher do his reformulation, he explains the thoughts of the students, but always insisting that this is the way it should say it so that everyone can easily understand it. Afterwards, students then copy the reformulated text, so the following page shows the text of a group of Japanese students produce and the way the teacher reformulate it. So here is an example for the student text. Japanese and earthquake have got a quite long time relationship. More than 60 years ago, the big one had occurred and it caused terrible damage. For example, fire, which has been used for cooking at lunchtime. They were quite ignorant with what they should have done. So now, on the day almost all the Japanese do the situation practice against the disasters, since it is predicted that the big one will surely occur before long. So that most of them keep immigrant food, drink, medicine, etc. Of course, we hope these things are not in need. For the reformulated teacher text, the Japanese and earthquakes have had a long-term relationship. More than 60 years ago, the big one occurred and it caused terrible damage, such as fire, due to the fact that people use fire to cook their meal. They didn't really know what precautions to take, so now, on the anniversary of the day, almost everyone in Japan does an earthquake drill. Since it is predicted that the next big one will definitely occur before long, this is why most people keep emergency food, drink, and medicine at home. Of course, we hope these things will not be needed. So as you can see in the example that the students are involved in the text reformulation process. The teacher can elicit ideas for improvements, can ask questions to check the class intentions, and can keep the class informed by explaining his thoughts processes as he hunts for better ways of expressing these intentions. Before moving into step 4, an alternative stage might be to erase or cover up the reformulated text and ask learners to work in group to reconstruct it from memory, using their original text as a prompt. This will force attention and form, as well as encouraging greater attentiveness during the reformulation stage. For the step 4, students then, working individual, write their own text about a similar topic, for example, hurricanes, volcanoes, or floods. They compare this in pairs, suggesting changes and improvements before submitting their text to the teacher for correction. So in this stage, as they already have knowledge on how to define or give ideas about the topic, they share it with their group mates to create and compile their ideas to make a better output. Evaluation, the E factor. Reformulation requires no materials preparation since the texts are created entirely by the students. All that is necessary and some stimulus in the form, for example, a visual or a situation or a task. The reformulation process requires only a board, although overhead projectors are very useful for the purpose. The greatest demand is on the teacher's skills at on-the-spot reformulation. However, if the teacher has been unobstructively present during the text construction stage, some preparations for the reformulation stage can be done in advance. That is, even if the teacher has preselected a grammatical item to focus on and chosen a task that is likely to generate. This is not necessarily a disadvantage. However, especially at higher levels and in mixed ability classes, where a rich input rather than a purposefully lean one is likely to be more effective in the long run, there is always be something for somebody to notice. The A factor. For the reason just mentioned, the reformulation of learners' text is likely to have greater relevance to learners than the study of imported text. Nevertheless, the reformulation stage has to be handled sensitively so the learners see it as an empowering activity rather than an exercise in humiliation. In addition, any activity that allows the teachers to extend his control on the blackboard may run the risk of becoming perilously chalky-talky.